is how to develop supervisors, but how to develop yourself to supervisor. Now, there might be lots of people in the room who have already hit the supervisor position. Hands up if you are already a supervisor. Let's have a look. There's quite a lot of you. But do you have a supervisor-sized business? Because if not, then really, month in, month out, that's what we should be building to achieve. So we want a supervisor-sized business to bring us in a supervisor-sized income. Let's talk about how we're going to do it very, very practically, because it is actually doing the basics over and over again. But what you've already heard is that you have to learn those basics, you have to master them, and you have to practice them consistently. So your business owner box arrives, and if you sponsor somebody new into the business, they're going to get their business owner box. And sometimes it feels like Christmas, and sometimes it feels completely the opposite. I felt terrified when my box arrives. I just thought, oh my goodness, what are all these products? How am I going to learn what it is that they do? And how on earth am I going to talk to other people about them? But very, very quickly you learn that if you just simply start to use those products yourself, even if it's just the littlest detail, your personal experience with using that product, that is enough to recommend it to others. You're doing it every single day already as it is. I've just bought Sharon's book. I'm sure I'm going to be telling lots of people about Sharon's book over the next few weeks once I've read it. You know, our industry is exactly that. It's recommendation. As soon as you get your box, you then start onto your first steps to manager. Now, this is one of the most important parts of our business. If you can learn the first steps to manager, implement the activities, learn the skills of getting better at those activities, and keep doing that, that's not your first steps to manager, that's your first steps to diamond manager. If you were in any other industry and you had an information guide like that, it would be worth tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands as a program to implement into a business. But to us, it's free. If you can master how to use your first steps to manager, how to do all the activities within it, master the marketing plan, and teach it to others, then you really are sat on a gold mine. Product launches are very, very important, and I see lots of people try and skip that phase. I tried to do it myself. I was terrified. I didn't want people to think I was inviting them to my house to sell them some products. But actually, when you take yourself out of the equation, you're inviting some people that you know and care about to your home to offer them some information on what it is that you're doing. That is quite simply it. Doesn't have to be a massive event. You know, some of the most incredible launches that I've been a part of have been with very few people. I'll share with you something that makes me look really like a bit of a loser. My first product launch, I traveled, I think I was 34 weeks pregnant. I traveled heavily pregnant all the way back to Wales from Manchester, 4 hours drive. My mother made 70 cupcakes in preparation, as you do. She's a feeder. And nobody turned up. Not one single person turned up. Imagine how much my ego was bruised about 2 months later when my mum held one and everyone turned up, and their dogs. Luckily, I got to eat the 70 cupcakes myself. I was pregnant, so I did an 8-hour traveling round trip because I was in work the next morning, straight back to Manchester. Did I feel deflated? Yep. Did I feel like a complete loser? Yep. But did I do another one? Yes, absolutely, I did another one. You see, product launch is very, very important, and not just because it's your business and you want to tell your friends about it, but you actually need to get really good at doing these launches, because when you start to build a team, you need to be the expert. You need to be able to deliver a good product launch, show your team member how you do it. And then we've got the planning meeting. Now, this is always, for me, the time that I'm really getting to know my new team member. It's where you talk about probably their hopes and fears. It's where you talk about what it is that they want out of the business opportunity. And it's where you start, not give them the full plan, but you start to put a plan in place. Now, I would say a little bit of a caution in the first planning meeting, because I think that starting your own business can be very overwhelming. And if someone says to me, I definitely want to get to the manager position, that is what I want, I can show them as part of the marketing plan how that is done, but I think it can be too overwhelming to plan it out step by step from the beginning. But what you can do is break that down into bite-sized chunks and show them this is what we have to do first then. Let's book in 2 to 3 launches. Let's get speaking to your key people who you think might be interested in a business opportunity. Let's arrange to meet them. Let me help you. And that very much becomes something more digestible for them, something more achievable, and they can see how we get to the first position of supervisor. Because it really is as simple as that. 25 case credits over 2 consecutive months is a few launches, a few regular customers, a couple of team members, if that. There are so many people in the room who have hit the supervisor position on retail alone because our products are that incredible. But really and simply, that is all supervisor is. If you do that on a consistent basis, you will have a supervisor business. Once you know how to get to supervisor, you can get not just to manager, because once you get to supervisor, you can help other people get to supervisor. You should be ticking or switching on light bulbs in your head now to think, actually, if I can get to supervisor and I can help other people get to supervisor, that is really important in one of our incredible incentives, which is coming in a week or two's time, Eagle Manager. So if you can master the supervisor position, it is your key to unlocking most of the marketing plan. It's really important to have a relationship with the people that you are helping within your team. And I don't just mean the people that you are sponsoring yourself. It's really great to get to know them and find out what their hopes, their wants, their needs, their desires are, so that you can do whatever it is that you need to do to help them get to those goals. You've got to find out what drives them forward. You know, it might be money, it might be desperation, it might be that they've been inspired, it might be that they just want to develop themselves. You need to know what drives them so that you can then find out how it is best that you mentor them. Anybody had a team member be miffed off that you messaged them or contacted them too much? Anyone had a team member who felt that they weren't supported enough? Opposite ends of the spectrum. But that's actually because sometimes as mentors we can fail at the first hurdle. This is a voluntary business. And that is why most people will either really push forward or they give up. It's voluntary. They're not starting a business to have another boss. I definitely didn't want another boss, and I'm sure none of you have joined to get another boss. You join for whatever it is that you need to happen, for whatever area of your life you want to improve, and you are hoping that there is going to be a hand there, somebody there to hold your hand and to guide you. So you need to make sure you know the people enough that you can ask them, how do you want to be mentored? And I very much ask my team, and I say, you know, what do you want me to do? And they say, Emma, if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I want you to ring me, I want you to give me a tell-off. And I'm like, oh, are you sure? They're like, yeah, that's what I need. Okay, so I will make a note on the profile sheet that I have for them. That's how they want to be mentored. Not to be mistaken with one of your team members who maybe cries a lot and wants the softly approach. You don't want to get them mixed up. But it's true, some people, I don't respond well to being shouted at. I don't find it encouraging if someone says, you're not working hard enough, come on, let's get your butt in gear, let's do it together. I would completely go the other way. But then I have some people that I work with who are very much like that. They want to be G'd on. They want you to contact them every day and say, come on, what's the plan today? What are we doing? How can I help you? But other people don't. But make sure you know the people that you're bringing into your team or you're working with within your team so that you know how to mentor them and you know they're happy and then you're very much happy as well. And get that plan set in motion. What's really, really important is you lead by example. You show them what it is that they have to do. You don't just tell them. So if it's telling people about the business, take them out. Show them you telling people about the business if that's required. If it is doing a product launch, make sure you go. You show them how to do a product launch until they're comfortable with it. If it's running their first stall and they're a bit nervous, make sure you go and you show them what it is that they have to do, not just telling them. Hold their hand along the way and celebrate every single tiny, tiny win. I remember I've used the example before when I recognized somebody who had gone out to try and contact market, and they got to Costa Coffee and they went home. They bottled it, I guess. But I tell you, I know what it took, because I took the time to get to know her, for her to even get to Costa Coffee, to contemplate going out and doing that kind of activity, and knew what a huge step that was. 3 days later, she was messaging me, super excited. She'd gone out, contact marketed, and got 3 numbers. Win. If I'd have said, oh, that's such a shame you didn't do it. You just need to get your confidence up. Go and work on your mindset. Sick of hearing it. You know, go and do this, go and do that. It's not going to work. But if you said, you know what? Don't be so hard on yourself. Congratulate yourself for getting to Costa. That is about 50 steps further than you would have done yesterday. So well done you. Next step, we'll just do a little bit further. And I can't ever tell anybody off for being a bit scared, because I'm the biggest scaredy cat ever. I'm scared of everything. And sometimes I get completely paralyzed by it. I can't even look at anyone as I'm walking down the street and say, hi. It's ridiculous. But when I get to that point, I have to flick a switch and say, okay, Emma, it's time to work on you a little bit more now. And I will simply start by walking down the street and looking at someone saying, hi. Or telling somebody they look nice if I think they look nice. That to me is baby steps towards then speaking to more people, offering them the business. So you don't have to be so hard on yourself, but celebrate the very small wins with all of your team members. Remember, most of us haven't done anything like this industry before. And so it's really important that we share those small wins with each other. Selling your first aloe lips, contacting your first person, coming to your first event. Those are all things that we should be celebrating together and recognizing, because recognition is actually a massive key to our industry. It makes us completely different to anybody else. When you get a promotion in any other job, do you get to come on a stage waving a flag or a hashtag sign or a clappers? And know that every single person in the room is rooting for you. You don't get that, because in normal jobs, most people are going for the same positions. I remember in a job I was in, it was like God's waiting room if you wanted to be promoted. You know, you're just waiting for them to drop off. It's horrendous. But actually, that was the reality. But we're not in that industry. And we are motivators of people, so we are all happy to see other people succeed. You've got to know the plan, though. You've got to know what it takes to succeed. You've got to be able to explain it to people simply. You've got to be able to break it down and explain it to people who are looking at the business in the simplest possible form. And that works. Sometimes you doubt that it works when you've done it so much and it just doesn't seem like, you know, it's coming through all your work. But rest assured, the key, as Sharon said earlier, I don't believe knowledge is power. I believe knowledge is potential power. You can be the most educated person in the room, but if you do nothing with that, nothing's going to happen. So knowledge is not power, but it is potential power. Because if you have all the skills in the world in our industry, once you start to put them into action, that is when the power starts to kind of collaborate and make great things happen. So you've got to know the plan, you've got to be able to explain it in the most simplest of forms, and you've got to know the benefits of our company, the benefits of the industry that we work in. And, you know, the fact that Forever is 40 years old, I still think is absolutely incredible. When Sharon mentioned earlier about people saying, oh, well, you've got to be in early. Well, I joined the company 37 years after it started, and I did okay. So it's nonsense that you have to be in at the right time. You create your right time. The right time is when you decide to master the plan, master the benefits, the 40 years, you know. The fact that you don't have to maintain a certain level, you don't get demoted in our marketing plan. Do you know how unique that is to our industry? It's very rare. And in a day and age where, I mean, even since I've been in the business, just 3.5 very short years, but fast years, I've learned so much and I've seen so many other companies come along and go, come along and leave. I've never seen anything stick around or build a foundation like we have here in Forever, so I feel eternally grateful for that. Know the benefits of our company because they are unparalleled with any other company. It's all about the activity, though, isn't it? Because we can sit here and we can have all the knowledge and we can know what we have to do and we can explain the marketing plan properly. But if we don't change that into activity, then nothing is going to happen. And I want you to be really honest with yourself, no matter what stage you are on the marketing plan. Now, I don't just mean people who are going for the supervisor position. I mean any position on the marketing plan, and ask yourself, if you were employing you, would you have already got the sack? Because everyone's like, yep, I definitely would have sacked myself. If all your task is to speak to 2 people about the products every day, and 2 people about the business opportunity every day, be honest, hands up, hand on your heart, who can say they have done that every single day since they started their business? Seriously, who can say that? I can't see one hand. I can't say that. Oh my God, is there one per diamond manager? Make sure you get her on camera. It's true. So in that case, if all your job is to tell 2 people a day, offer them the products, 2 people a day about the business opportunity, and that is it, that's your job, do that. If you do it, look around, you haven't got much competition. You're going to be really successful. It's true. I always say when you're looking at the supervisors on the stage, and I do this every success day, I look at them and I think, would I have told you about the business if I was stood next to you in a queue in Tesco or Sainsbury's or whatever? You know, and sometimes you've got to ask yourself that question, would you have told them? Second of all, there's people doing it, they're just not on your team. So there's people out there that want a business opportunity. There's people out there who want to further themselves along the marketing plan. They just didn't join you because you didn't tell enough people. That is very much quite simply it. So if we start to do that, if we start telling our 2 a day about the business, 2 a day about the products, we're going to see some massive growth, aren't we? Aren't we? Yeah, we are. Hold their hand along the way. Show them what it is that's possible. I like to use this table that converts it into money for them. And what I love about this, because for me it's never just about supervisor. It is a great key position on a marketing plan, but it's about having a goal past supervisor so that then supervisor will naturally happen anyway as you develop. Of course, that is what is going to happen. Look at the difference here, and what I think is massively powerful is that when you look at the supervisor position and you're doing 4 case credits, that's £352 per month. That was almost my rent when I started my business. When I was going off on maternity leave, that would have been a massive, massive, massive help to me. It would have been pretty life-changing because it would have meant I could have stayed at home longer with William. But then, look at the other 2 positions. Don't lose sight of that. Look, if you're doing the same work as you're doing as an assistant supervisor, you're getting 30 quid more for it. Exactly, you're not putting any more effort in. It's the same work. And then you go to assistant manager, you're going to get 50 quid more for it, doing exactly the same amount of activity. And at the manager position, you then get an extra 50 quid on top of that for doing exactly the same work. And sometimes I think we miss the simplicity of it. It's all about leveraging time. So one of the incentives that I've mentioned already was the Eagle Manager incentive. If there are any managers in the room who have made 2 supervisors since the incentive period started, so the incentive period for Eagle is May the 1st till April the 30th, during that which you have to sponsor 2 new people and help develop them to supervisor. Is there any managers in the room that have done that already? Well, I'm going to release her now. Release her. She's not in a cage. She is just sat backstage. I'm going to release her. Why did I say that? Okay. I'm going to release her now. You've done it. Chris and Alan's goals were everybody. They have made and helped 2 supervisors. But you see how unique that is. Only Chris and Alan in the whole room. I can't even say that I've done it. Who? Oh, well done you as well. Let's give them a massive round of applause because this is really rare. Well done. So you'll be in America next year at Eagle Manager. So one of the biggest incentives, our Eagle Manager program, requires that we help 2 people get to supervisor. You've seen how rare that is, clearly. But this lady, Yvonne, who's part of our Scottish... they're the loudest. Part of our Scottish team has done that already, and she's going to share with us how implementing what we've just talked about really does work and what effect that can have on your business. Please give a massive, massive welcome, flags going, to Yvonne Cunningham.
So I am released from my cage. I am really excited and really honoured to be able to speak to you guys today and share a little bit about what I have been up to the last 16 weeks. However, in order to do that, I need to take you back to where my journey started, and next month it will be 3 years since I started working with this amazing company, even though I cannot believe it's 3 years. It's the quickest 3 years of my life. So previous to Forever, I trained as a nurse, a job that I thought would be mine for life. I would work my way up the ranks and I would end up, with a cushy number, working a few days a week and being able to raise my family. However, what happened was, in reality for me, nursing was more about politics and paperwork than it was patient care, and I absolutely hated it. So, found myself back in my old role in the health and fitness industry. And although it was a job that I loved, and I loved the people that I worked alongside, there was no real manoeuvre for any kind of promotion. It was kind of within the council facilities, and once somebody was in a job, they usually stayed in it. So I just felt very kind of stuck and frustrated, and I wasn't sure what to do. At the time, my little girl was 18 months old, and my husband worked away from home, so I just felt my choices were limited. My little girl was already getting passed from pillar to post, so going back to university wasn't an option. I couldn't work any more physical hours than I did, and I just thought, there must be more to life than this. So when I came across our incredible opportunity, what I saw was the chance to be able to earn an extra income flexibly around my commitments, in the hope that one day it might lead to being able to drop a few days at my work and have more time at home with my little girl. But what happened in reality was, after 12 weeks in the business, I'd actually matched my full-time salary, because I realised quite quickly that if I just put a little bit more commitment into the business, if I stopped watching David Attenborough documentaries, then I would have that extra time. Everybody feels really, really busy, but you can find the time. So it was very easy for me after 12 weeks in matching my salary to decide to skip out the door and leave my job. I knew what I had my hands on, and I knew that it could change mine and my family's lives. So since then, the only really kind of description I can give of what happened is life-changing, absolutely life-changing. I'm really very privileged and lucky. As Sharon was saying, can't really say lucky, but I'm very honoured now that I get to work my business completely part-time now around 2 children. And get to spend as much time with them as I want, which most days is a good thing, I think. I haven't upped their nursery hours recently, but it's an absolute dream come true. I've qualified for our amazing company incentives, and I've been able to travel the world with Forever. So I've been to South Africa, I've been to Eagle Manager Retreat in Greece, and we went to Dubai in April and picked up a chairman's bonus cheque. So, so everything was pretty much, going on track. Life couldn't have been any better. And then some of you know my full story, which I won't go into today, but unfortunately, the last year, myself and my family have been through some really extreme personal tragedies. And so, because of this, because life does happen, last year, I made the decision deliberately not to bring anybody into the business, because for me, myself, I do believe that mindset was everything, but my commitment, first and foremost, was always to my family, and my family needed me, and I didn't have the same time that I would always usually put into anyone in my business, so I just felt it wasn't fair to bring someone on. However, I did obviously already have an amazing team, and I promised to still work hand in hand with them. So I had a few people going for manager, and I worked alongside them and concentrated on that. But what was then the consequences of doing that? I missed the boat. Friggin' missed rock the boat, because I didn't have any supervisors. So, it's obviously so incredible to be able to go on these amazing holidays with Forever, but I think it was worse for me because I'd been on the amazing holidays, I'd got to experience it, I'd got to be part of that, and then I knew I was going to miss the next one. So gutted is an understatement, but as with everything, I don't believe in making mistakes in this business. I just believe that you learn lessons. So for that reason, as soon as our new incentive period started, I got to work. So I made sure that one of my first priorities would be to pick out some real diamonds and help them to get to supervisor, because I wasn't making that same mistake again. So we're always told, to pick out your key people, identify your key people and work hand in hand with them. So who have you got just now in your team? Who are your diamonds? Who are the people that are showing you that they really, really want this opportunity and they're ready to get to work and, have that commitment to get to where they want to be? So that's what I did. I looked within my team. I looked at the new people I was bringing on board, and I knew the ones who really, really wanted it and were willing to work alongside me and do whatever it was going to take to get to supervisor. I connected to their why. So within your teams, can you tell me, everybody in your downlines, why? If they're having a wobbly day, if they've done a product launch and no one's turned up, do you know the thing that you're going to say to them to be able to keep them going and lift their spirits again? Because I think that for us as leaders, when you're doing that first planning meeting or you're getting to know your team, I think it's super, super important to get to know the reason that that person has started the business. So I can tell you in my team, everyone's why. I know that some of my team, their dream is to be able to put their kids to bed at night instead of working and missing out on that, the precious family time. I know some of my team, I know the kind of house they want, I know the kind of car they want, I know that everything. And I just think that that's super important, and that's what's going to help you to be able to help your team get to where they want to be. And for you as well, if you're an assistant supervisor in the room just now, you have to be super connected to why you're doing this, because it then makes all the hard work so much easier. And believe in them. So we all remember, if we've been in the business a little bit longer like I have, it's super scary. It's super scary at the start. You've got this box, you've been told to do this, that, and the next thing, but you're still not sure what's going to happen. It's just the fear of the unknown. So you have to show your team that you believe in them. Give them a loan of your confidence until their confidence builds themselves and they've got their own success stories to be able to share. Lead by example. So Emma's already spoke a little bit about that. Monkey see, monkey do. Even from day one, when I started the business, and I understood what I had to do to be successful. Even before I had a team, I acted as if I was a leader. I worked on my mindset, I read the books, I was at every BP, product launches, pop baskets, everything in preparation for when I did have a team. And I think that's super, super important, you be that leader from day one. Activity, activity, activity. So what do your diaries look like right now? Are they jam-packed? Is there lots of room in there? Because if there's quite a few gaps, and especially if you do want to be working towards your first promotion like supervisor, then something's going to need to change. You're going to need to fill that with activity. So have you got your business presentations marked in? Have you got marked in who's taking your pop baskets? Every single little thing like that has to be done. Yes, it's going to take, commitment. It's going to take dedication. It's going to take sacrifice. But it's that short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain that's completely and utterly worth it. So yes, you're going to be busy, but what's it going to give you thereafter? You just have to be as busy as you can, because then you know that doing the activity gets the results. And their business is your business. So I think sometimes I hear other people who have obviously got a team and they might be complaining, such and such hasn't done their 4 case credits yet, or this person's not done that, or why are they not doing that? But in your open business, all those case credits are your case credits. So, if somebody's not doing something, but, they're saying that they want to, you have to look at that and think then, how am I going to help them to do that? You have to treat it like it's your own. So for me as a leader, when I've got new people coming into the business, as much as I possibly can, I want to be at every product launch. I want to support them in every one-to-one that they do with a prospect until they're confident to do it themselves. I'm going to treat that person as if they're my prospect. I'm going to treat that product launch as if it's my product launch, and how good or bad or how much I help that person is going to depend on the results. And that's the kind of mentality that you all need to get into. So this here is my 2 incredible supervisors that I've developed over the last 16 weeks. These lovely ladies were just on stage. You heard from Megan. So I am super, super proud of these 2. As you can see, this is their first 3 months in the business. And what I think this shows is, obviously, amazing consistency from the word go, but you can see the massive jump in case credits in their 3rd months when they were going supervisor, and that is because they worked their butts off. They worked their butts off, morning, noon and night. I was there to see it all, and they worked super, super hard. So sometimes I think in this business, you know, you're doing all this work and you're working away and you're out late nights and you're missing time with your family, and you think, come on, like I just want to see the results now. And unfortunately, there's no guarantee of exactly when it's going to happen. You just have to marry the process and divorce the outcome and know that if you really, really work hard, then it is going to happen. Both these ladies decided to decide. They wanted supervisor and they were willing to work hard and do whatever it took to get there. Both of them, it wasn't an easy journey. One of them was in hospital, seriously ill. I said to her, don't even think twice about forever, your health is going to come first. She was in the hospital, she was prospecting staff, she was giving out samples. She was not caring. She had her mind focused on getting to supervisor, and she did it. And I'm just so incredibly proud because let me let you in on a big, big, big secret. If you can get to supervisor in this business, you can get to anywhere you want in our marketing plan, anywhere. Because guess what? It's the exact same thing that you're going to do to get to supervisor as you are to get to senior, to get to sapphire, to get to diamond sapphire, whatever it is that you want. All you're going to do is use the products yourself, believe in them, become a product to the product, share those products with your friends and family, and share this incredible business opportunity. So this is the hardest part, as we've already said, that initial step, taking that step to getting to where you want to be, and then where it can lead to thereafter. So this is just a few pictures of the last 16 weeks. And I think what you'll probably agree is that you can see a lot of fun going on there, because it has been so much fun. And I have to say that with this business, if you're not having fun, I'm sorry, but in my opinion, something's going wrong. You're doing something wrong. Because yes, it's hard work, but it should be so much fun. So believe it or not, the top picture with the girls with their hands in the air is doing a live online party in my house. So I think that on that online party, the people on the party thought they were in the room having a party with us. But you know, what it shows is dedication, hard work, and believing in this amazing opportunity to use it to take you to wherever you want to go. So as it says here, you create the excitement, you hold hands with the person, you do the work, and you get the results. So even if that is applying to you as an assistant supervisor today, you know, you can decide to be your own diamond. You can decide that you're going to put everything in place and do all this work, and you will soon be wherever you want to be with this company. So, obviously, since we're kind of going down the Christmas theme, Christmas is 16 weeks away. Eek. Actually, I had to just look up at my calendar and think, oh, 16 weeks, really? Oh my goodness. But the amazing thing, as we know with this business, is once you decide to decide, you can literally achieve anything you want. So what could you do in the next 16 weeks? What could you achieve between now and Christmas? How different could your Christmas look this year compared to last year? So if you're not already a supervisor and you're in the room today, you absolutely could do supervisor and more by Christmas. Maybe you are already a supervisor, but your supervisor business isn't quite where it needs to be. Think how much you could change that around by Christmas time. It's really, really exciting. And if you want more than that, as we've seen in this business a million times, you don't need to set any limitations because you can achieve whatever you want to achieve.
She makes it sound so easy, but it was a really honest account of actually what it takes to help other people get to supervisor. And if you were a manager, a senior manager, a soaring manager, a sapphire manager, when we talk about doing it, you know, show them, don't just tell them, why don't we all go for building a supervisor business again, a brand new supervisor business? It doesn't matter what level of the marketing plan you are, you can always start afresh. Just reminds you what it takes to do to get there, what you did to get to where you are now. Do it again, why not? Building relationships, working closely, fulfilling your promise when you started your business. Remember, you said, come, join us. I'm going to help you to build a business. Do you do that on a daily basis? Are you always there? Are you showing them the right way? That's the promise that we make when we ask people to take a look at our opportunity, and we have to make sure that we're fulfilling that promise on a daily basis. Be the leader, show everybody what is possible, and book in the activity. Make sure you have got a strict structure, a plan in place, something that you cannot compromise. And then if you do what Sharon's told us and work on the mind as well, I believe you've got all the tools in your kit to absolutely make your business soar and have probably the best Christmas ever. Thank you.